Sweet. A couple minutes. Helsa, whoever's joined, I hate how it doesn't tell me someone's joined the chat or who's joined the chat. I'm gonna wait a few minutes. Um, let the crowd build up a little bit. Tired already. Gotta go back to work tomorrow. Get a couple more. Go ahead and say hi, whoever's in here, if you want. I can see who's all joined so far. Oh, Ian, Helsa, brother. I'll wait a couple more minutes. I don't know how long tonight's is going to turn out compared to the other one. I got a lot. Probably about the same runtime. Depends on if I get a little sidetracked, which I usually do. Oh, hail, brother. It's been a long 5 days off for me. Got a lot done. Got the website completely up and running, which is really nice. I kind of took your advice on it. I'm only doing like a blog a day. I still got to add some poetry on there tonight that I've already had written up, and that way it's on that poetry page. And I'll have to upload this video on there. I got to remember how Brian showed me I could put it directly on that page. That way it doesn't like take you to YouTube. But it was pretty exhausting getting that down. I forgot how much work it takes to actually build a website. But yeah, it was a long week. Got some woodworking done, which is really nice. I got that grab it right here. Got that piece done. I don't even know what I'm going to use it for yet, but I don't even know if you could see the detail. Oh, you can kind of see Odin's face in it. And then what I even read? Oh yeah, got Wotan written on this side in runes. Big Wotan's eye, then a big Folk, and then Othala. And I even did it for you, Ian. I didn't put the boots on it this time. But no, I really liked how this piece turned out. It was a little bit more work trying to get Wotan's face in there, but I think it turned out really good. I think I'm going to start moving to a lighter stain, though. But, all right, it's 8:02, so I'm going to start this out. And so I'm just going to continue on what I was talking about, I really did. I touched on these things, a couple little things. You're a little dark, looks damn good. All right, hold on. There we go. That's a little brighter. Does that look better, Ian, the lightness? Hopefully it does. I got these hue lights, these freaking like LED lights that I use. I have them going throughout my whole house. But all right, so last week, I was talking about Odin, and I talked about a bunch of different things. His appearance, some of the things he's known for, and one of the really big things I really want to touch on today is two of Odin's sacrifices, or things that he sacrificed for knowledge, and which is in a roundabout way power. Knowledge is power to them. But I kind of got to start off by talking about Yggdrasil, the world tree, the tree of life. And, with that, Yggdrasil's this centerpiece to our universe and to all the realms. It's in the center, and its branches are holding together everything that we know. And it brings everything. It has the Vril in it too. It's a living thing. I don't really think it's a tree, but they use that tree to symbolize what it does. And so with Yggdrasil, it's got three primary roots, big roots, and it's got all these other little ones, but they go to different realms. And the first being, it goes down. The first route goes into Niflheim, and it goes down into Niflheim and into man, I just forgot. Oh yeah, the oh my god, I can't believe I just forgot the name of that. Okay, so it goes into Niflheim, which is the realm of ice and death, and it goes into the. Oh, okay. It's this root grows out of the well of Havergalmere, and this well is death. It is, it spews death and venom and poison and decay. And kind of going along with that, and I'll talk about it here in a minute, is with these wells, as well with the tree of life and everything that that's in nature. When you have positives, you have negatives. When you have negatives, you have positives, and there are these forces that are always going against each other, but nature always balances it out. It'll always balance out. And so one of these main routes goes down into Niflheim, and into the well is in the netherworld. A little bit of knowledge on that as well is that you got Nidhogg, and in different spots you got Nidhogg being described as a dragon, or a worm or a wyvern, but every description I've ever said, even if it says a dragon, said he has no wings, which if you historically look at it, a dragon without wings is a wyvern or a worm. And so you got Nidhogg, who is down in the netherworld and feasts on all these dead and decaying bodies, corpses, whatever, anything dying or dead. And when he's taking a break from eating those, he gnaws at this root, trying to break it or bend it, or cause instability for Yggdrasil. And along with Nidhogg, you got Ratatosk, which is a squirrel that Nidhogg sends up into Yggdrasil to taunt the eagle that is sitting on a branch on top of Yggdrasil, that kind of keeps watch of Yggdrasil and makes sure that everything's going okay. And the gods talk to this eagle, so they also know what's going on. The second root that grows out of Yggdrasil, second main root, leads to Asgard, to the gods, and this is known as the Well of Erd. And this well is known for, I believe, knowledge. Let me see what I wrote down. Or not knowledge, sorry, that's Mimir's. This well it's the spring of destiny. And this is where the gods and goddesses hold their court and pass judgment on everything throughout the realms, whether it be in Midgard or, something in Jotunheim or Niflheim or wherever. This is where they go and they discuss the things that are going on, as well as this is where the Norns reside. And the Norns being Erd, Skuld, and Verdandi. And Erd meaning past or your fate. Skuld being future and your being, and Verdandi is presence or necessity. Now I've touched on these Norns a little bit, but for anyone who's watching now or will watch, who wants to know a little more, the Norns are the weavers of our fate, our weird, all of this. They weave our pathways that we get to choose throughout life of where we're going to go, what type of person we're going to be. Without them, there wouldn't be really any choice. I mean, for me, I would feel that, everything would just kind of be chaos if you didn't have these choices, if you didn't have this multitude of paths that you can take. I feel like it gives you your moral compass, where you can actually think about what path you're going to take, and choosing the right path, of course, is where we should all be. But that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you have to take that path that's going to screw you right now, but in the long run, it could help you out. These waters bestow life, strength, and growth. And so what this does, these waters, as this tree, as Yggdrasil is absorbing these, it is renewing its strength, and it's renewing its powers to hold together the realm and the worlds and the universe that we know. And so talking about that, how that positive and that negative, Yggdrasil is like this. It's like this wheel. It's helping the wheel of life that's going around. And so you always have those negatives and those positives. And with that, that's all part of nature. That's all part of nature's law. And it's going to take all these negatives and all these positives, because they're going to go on this wheel and keep spinning and spinning and going to where they need to go. Then we have the third root, which goes out of Jotunheim, the realm of the giants. And with that well is known as the Well of Mimir, and it is the well of knowledge, of untold knowledge, and it is guarded by the giant Mimir. I hate saying the word now. Thanks, Ian, for pointing that out on my very first stream. So this well, if you drink from this well, of course, it's going to bestow great knowledge, and that is of, past, present, future, anything. I mean, you'd be all-knowing, which can be a blessing and a curse. And later on, I'll be talking about this, how it could be a blessing and a curse. Because, no one really wants to know. I mean, everyone says, oh, yeah, it'd be nice to know how you die. But do you really? Do you really want to know how your loved ones will die? Do you want to know the end of the world? Because in all reality, you can't change it. Nature is eventually going to get what it wants. If it's your time to die, and say I have this knowledge, and I prevent myself from dying, it's going to come back to me. It always will. You can't beat nature. It's always going to win eventually. In the long run, nature always wins. And so I'm going to talk about Odin seeking the waters of Mimir. So Odin decided that he wanted to be able to drink from the well of Mimir and get this knowledge. I mean, he was always on that shamanistic path of wanting to obtain everything and know everything, past, present, future, 3 realms away or whatever. And so he seeks out Mimir, and he tells him he wants to drink from this well. Well, Mimir tells him that the only way he would do this is if he would give up his eye. And Odin, of course, everyone knows Odin, the one eye, gives it up. He gives it up free and willingly and with no regrets. Gabo. Exactly. Gabo. A gift to Mimir so that he would be able to partake in this. Well, free and willingly and no regrets, Odin does this, and Mimir lets him drink from it. And Odin becomes all-knowing, kind of. It gets, in the next sacrifice, he really becomes all-knowing. But he gains this knowledge of the past, present, and future, which is good and also bad, because now he knows about Ragnarok. He knows that the gods and goddesses are going to die, and as well as himself is going to die. And so this part of this curse is he's cursed with wanting more knowledge in this journey to find more knowledge. And so I'll go into the next myth here in a minute, but he's going to go through great lengths just to find this knowledge and try to protect his people and save his people. But in the end, he's not going to be able to. Just like as he knew Balder was going to die, after drinking from the well of Mimir, he knew his son was going to die. He didn't know how, but he knew, and there was nothing he could do about it, because in the end, nature's going to get it anyways. Hail, Sadil. How's it going? How's the drive? Another thing, so about the well of Mimir, well, just about Mimir, actually. So a little knowledge on that. Mimir was later on sent to the Vanir and ended up being killed by the Vanir. And Odin, and it doesn't really say a whole lot if it was, more, not a kinship, but, a fondness, or if it was just because of how smart Mimir was, because Mimir also drank from this well. But he preserved Mimir's head and left it and brought it back to Mimir's well, where it would rest, and Odin would go there for counsel, and where he could talk to Mimir, Mimir could guide him, or, just give him advice of what he was wondering. Odin's quest to cheat death. So, like I was saying, Odin now knows about his impending doom. He knows that he, as well as most of the other gods and goddesses, are going to die at Ragnarok, why they're going to die. And so he's going out and he's trying to find some way to prevent this, or some way to change this. So he goes to Yggdrasil, kind of not really knowing, at first not knowing what he's going to do. And he cuts a branch off or breaks it off, whichever way, and fashions a spear out of it. And he's looking out into the vast openness and decides that he's gonna hang from this tree. He's gonna hang from Yggdrasil. And he does that for 9 days and 9 nights with no food, no water, nothing. And Odin, he's sitting there thinking, as he's staring in this vast openness, on the 9th night, knowing that to attain great knowledge, a great sacrifice is needed. And I'm really going to elaborate on the great sacrifice after I get done talking about this myth, but I'm not going to watch. I don't think. Can't get it to play. Oh, that's fine, brother. You can watch it when you get home. Anyways, he knows he has to have a great sacrifice. And so as he's hanging on this tree, staring in this vast, emptiness of nothing, of space and time, he spears himself. And in doing this, he sacrifices himself to obtain this knowledge. And he saw in this vast openness of nothing, and it's called Gununga Gap. And he stares into Gununga Gap, and he finds this knowledge and this power that I believe is for real, and it all flows into him. And before he dies, he does two things. Before he dies, he chants out, I can't remember the exact words, but I am now the All Father. I am reborn, and that or he will be reborn. And he makes these runes. He makes the 24 runes, the 3 Ets of 8, and he fashions them, and then he dies. Well, Odin then is reborn into the All-Father. It's kind of a different aspect of him. I hate saying reborn, but it's kind of finding, he was remade into a higher version of himself, a better version, the all-knowing version of himself. And after that, he traveled the worlds, and he inscribed these runes on everything. I mean, anything that he could find, he would be inscribing them on, so that people could become masters of the god or science, or of that shamanistic, Odinistic way. And people did that. People found these runes and they studied them and learned how they worked and learned how to channel them and to chant them and to draw them, cast them anyway. I mean, there's multiple ways you could use these runes, and he did that so we could all, get that connection with him, and we could all channel that Viril that he found. And I'm going to kind of talk about that because I have the way I feel, I have this different interpretation of how it's written in books of how Odin made the runes and how I think about it. No one even ever explained this to me, and I was just talking to Brian about this when, which is one of our other kinsmen when he came over, is that I believe when Odin was on Yggdrasil, and he speared himself and he found this knowledge, which I feel is the Viril, it was this vast amount of Viril, and he had nothing that he could do with it. Well, I believe that he made these runes, and he, not even not out of wood, not out of anything, but I hate saying grab it. It's such a spiritual thing for me. I don't really know how to explain how he did it, but this is how I feel, is that he grabbed, or he channeled, let's say channeled. He channeled this Viril into the runes, and it made these runes. And all of them, so he grabbed this Viril and channeled it into these runes, and passed it down on. He took in the excess of the Viril that was left, and all these runes that he went and carved. He now that he had that power, he was channeling it in there, so it was actually in those runes. It wasn't just a rune that he drew. Because anyone can draw a rune, but I feel like if you're not channeling that rune in it, if I'm going to meditate and I'm gonna get in my position, my stotter. I get in my, say Sawillo, and I'm in it and I'm saying Sawillo and su, si, sa, so, say, or whatever, and I'm chanting it. I'm calling down that energy from that Viril force, and I'm channeling into myself for whatever reason that I need it to, and I believe that's why he did that. I lost track on where I was going with that, but oh man, that was horrible. But yeah, so it's not just some, oh yeah, how people could just draw them. It's not just something that you could just draw. There's energy going into it. You can, anyone can draw it. Even when I'm carving my runes in, I think about the rune that I'm carving at that minute, and I concentrate on it and I try to channel that energy. I'm calling on the Vril to channel that energy into that rune. And by doing that, I'm making that, whether it's a rune staff or it's a galder stick or anything, a shield, I'm putting that energy into it. It's becoming a living piece. Even though it's a dead piece of wood, it's that viril, that life force is going into it, making it alive. It's bringing that power into it. And same thing that goes with when you're making your runes. When you're making runes, like that you're going to cast, or rune dice, or however you cast your runes or draw your runes, the same goes for that. If you're painting them on there, you should be thinking of that rune and channeling it into it, so it's got that power. Because if you don't do that, it's not, to me personally, and this is all this stuff in here is my opinion, you're not going to get good rune draws. You're not going to do good rune casting or rune throws or whatever, because they don't have that energy. It's the same thing how I was always taught you should bleed your runes, bleed your hammer, where you bleed it and you do your symbol for it and you bury it. You're letting it absorb all that energy that you just put into it. You're letting all that energy from the Viril come into it. So I talked about that. And the last thing that I was going to talk about, and I said I was going to talk about it, and I've talked about it one other time too, but since we're talking about Odin, is that those people who, just because your patron god is Odin, I still wouldn't classify yourself as an Odinist or Wotanist, because to me, and I've talked to Eric about this, Eric Lane, and a couple other people, an Odinist is that person that's devout strictly for knowledge, and I just read about it, like to you guys, that to obtain that knowledge is great sacrifice. And you can't be doing that when you have that, 50, 60-hour job or week jobs, or you got a family, and you want that. I know that you want that knowledge, but most people can't obtain that. And and this is kind of a good example, but a bad example is Christians with their priests and stuff like that, how back in the day they weren't allowed to have wives. Now, it's a good concept, but being forced to, no, that's horrible. And, that's when you get the shamanistic Odinists who do that they don't really have the wives because they're all about that knowledge, not being forced to do it, but they choose that life of sacrifice. They choose that life of solitude so they can obtain that knowledge. And those sacrifices are going to be great. And why bother, or why even put your family through the trouble of that? Because it's just going to hurt them along the way more than it's probably going to hurt you, because you're already setting yourself on that path. And that's all you're thinking about. So, I don't know, just a little something to think, man. If that's the way you really want to go as an Asatruer, or as a Wotanist. I say I'm a Wotanist, but I use that because it's a more common terminology than a Asatru. But if that's the way you want to go in it, then be prepared to be losing things in your life, because knowledge does not come easy. To obtain that power, you're going to have to give up everything. And if you're all right with that, then do that. Just remember the things that Odin had to give up to obtain all that stuff. Yeah, it definitely wasn't as long as last week's, but that's all right. I was super busy this week, so I didn't prepare as much as I wanted to. But, if anyone's got any questions, it's not as big of a crowd as tonight. Really upsetting, but, I don't know. It did. So earlier today, and I'll just kind of talk about it a little bit. Like, it really did I don't know. It kind of bums me out, man, when I see pages. Ian, you know what I'm talking about. Like, and they're just kind of dead, they're just kind of meme pages, and I know everyone's not on the same level, but I hate seeing people who've like earned their hammers, and there's no one really participating, or trying to show love or support for people who are trying to do that, because this whole thing, man, it's more than just, myths to me. This is my way of life. This is how I'm gonna die. And whether I got asked by my father a long time ago when I first started practicing asatru is what what are you gonna do if you're wrong when you die? And I'm like, well, at least I died believing in what I believed. I don't want someone forcing me to believe what I believe. And so I try to show support to those people who are out there trying to get that name out there, that asatru name, those wotanistic rites, those heathen beliefs that we all believe in, that are, that watch these streams. It's, for me, it's everything, man. And it's, talking about those sacrifices, made, man, it's put a strain on my family, making this channel and making my website, and things are starting to slow down a little bit since I've got everything up and going. But it's hard, but to me it's worth it, and I'm not going to quit. And I don't even care if people watch my live stream. I'm just going to keep doing it, and hopefully people share, and people get something out of it, because that's what we're all supposed to do. To me, I know some people have really extensive jobs, and don't have a lot of free time and enjoy that family time, and I enjoy my family time too. But for me, I feel like this is what I need to be doing right now. I'm at where I need to be. I need to be doing this. I need to be sharing with people. I need to be exploring new possibilities in my life of getting everything up and going. If you have to make them see it, this path, see, keep doing you, and it'll get together. Yeah, that is true, Ian. I fucking love you watching this video. I'm kind of getting a little emotional right now. But I don't know. I feel like the Norns are kind of, giving me all the paths that I need to do right now and where I need to be. And, sometimes I just get deterred. And I talked about it on my blog today, man. I talked about how sometimes I just feel like giving up, like really just giving up on everything, not my beliefs, but trying to do anything. And I just think of what I've accomplished in the last 3 months. And that's, to me, it's a lot, like, I was telling one of my friends, I was like, because I was so excited, man. I got one of my videos broke 60 views, and they're like, "That's it?" And I'm like, "That's fucking a lot for me." I was like, "I'm happy about that," and they just didn't get it. And I'm like, "Man, even fucking 30 views, I'd have been happy." But breaking that 60, getting 60 views, I was super happy. And 20 subscribers now, and and I share it. I know people are probably annoyed because I share this on my Facebook, on all my groups, all my pages, and they're probably like, "Oh, this fucking dude again." But this is what I'm trying to do, and huge. What's huge? But yeah, this is what I'd like to accomplish, and that's all I'm thinking about lately is getting everything up and going. Here soon, I am next week. Oh, so we just started a bank account for our Kindred, which was really nice. But we are going to be ordering some wood, like some wood circles, and we're going to be making runes and putting those on the website as soon as possible to sell. And then I'm actually in the process. I got a new piece of wood, and I'm going to make a new rune staff. And this one's probably going to take a long while, because I'm really going to get down into the nitty gritty on it, and I might even trace all my line just so it looks really nice. But what I'm going to do with that, I don't know if you're part of that Ian, that Dale Thorson dude, but he has a page on Facebook, and he makes stuff. Thank you, Ian, I appreciate that. But he makes metal and axes and all sorts of stuff. But he did a page giveaway, and it gave me a really good idea of sharing that, because I'm part of another couple Kindred pages on Facebook and heathen pages, and putting up runes, a full set of runes that I'm going to make, and they'll look really nice, and then doing a rune staff. And it's probably as long as my other one that I'm building right now too, and that's 5.5 feet tall. It might be 6 feet tall. It's a huge rune staff. And but I'm thinking about making those and doing a page giveaway so I can get more people on that page, because more people on that page means everything's going to get shared more. And that's what I want to do. I want to share all this knowledge that I've had, or that I'm still learning, because I have nowhere near learning it all, especially meeting people like Ron. You realize, who's been doing it for 40 plus years, 50 years of how small the knowledge I actually really have is. But that's what I'm trying to do, man. So I mean, any likes and shares or mentions on Facebook, anything, man, I really appreciate it. Anyone who's watching, who's part of either of the pages, we're doing our winter findings below on the 23rd of September, which is in a couple weeks. And all are welcome, man. Last one was really good, and this time I think I told you, Ian, we've already got our blow guideline down, and we're gonna try to have all of it memorized, so we don't have to look at papers. But holy shit, there's some fucking long poems in it, and it's going to be a really good time. And that will be because I can't really live stream my laptop outside, but I can my GoPro. So that blow is actually going to be put on 2 different pages: the Berserkers and Midgard page, and the Berserkers Folk and Family page. And then on my website, there'll be a video for that too. But I'm going to get ready for bed and read a little bit because I got to work tomorrow. But I hope you guys have a good night, man. I'm glad I'm glad you guys listen to me ramble on, and it helps me too, man. This shit keeps me sane, getting to talk to other people and share what I've learned. So I really appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate you guys sharing and giving me support. All of you, man. Some of you guys have been so supportive. I really feel the love. It's really nice. So I hope you guys have a good night, man, and I love you all. Make it shareable. Oh, shit. I don't know how to do that. I'll have to text you after this. But you guys have a good night.